Hey, thanks for joining us this morning. Welcome to ATI ProMedia. We're powered by Advanced Trading. We're live at 9 every morning. The markets are open. Glad to bring you today's news today and talk about headlines, break it down. Thanks for joining us again. Well, it's January 6th, first kind of real week going back into the markets. The full-time traders are coming to town, and it's official. We can say the new year is going to be kicking off here this week, I think. But we'll run through some headlines here today. Got some macro market stuff, Trump headlines, some Canadian prime minister, some political stuff going on. We've got big report week that's on everybody's forefront here. We'll be breaking that down on the premium side and sprinkling in some fun stuff here for you throughout the week. Also got commitment to traders data here this afternoon as well. Cattle markets are going to be opening back up. Going to watch this price action and see where these markets goes. But let's dive into your markets. I'll give you an update on where the markets are at right now, and then we'll kick off the show. Thanks for joining us today. All right, March corn is up 8 cents. We got a lot of green on the screen. March corn at 4.58 3/4, up 8 cents. March beans are up 15.5 at 10.07 1/4. We got meal up. We got oil up. On the wheat side of things, KC Wheat and Chicago both up 14 cents. Feeder cattle are up at $1.50 to $1.60, 266.35 on the January feeder cattle board. Up $1.50 on fats as well on the February fats, up $1 on April. Looking over at hogs, hogs just couldn't keep the trend going. Hogs are down 1/4 on February, 80.5 cents, but down 1/4 on the hog front. When we look at your energy markets, crude's up $1, diesel's up 4 cents, nat gas up 26 cents. Macro market, the Dow's up 245 points, the S&P up 60, the NASDAQ up 300. Bitcoin up 2,500 points, crossing above 100,000 again, 101,731. Bring in my co-host, my guest. Welcome to the show, Connor B. Happy Monday, Connor.
Hey, happy Monday. So I'm in the area. I don't know if we got the 14 inches of snow they were calling for, and I talked about Friday, but we got 9 to 10 inches, maybe even a foot. So I'm snowed in. I'm in my home office today. So myself and the kids, right? My wife's trying to keep them away for a little bit, but if we get a guest host, right, I'll make sure they try and say something smarter than I usually say on this show. But
that'd be great. Yeah,
it's good to see this price action. You know, Friday was significantly weaker. When you were quoting it up, I just pulled up a March corn chart, and it's nice to see this rebound. And you know what would be really nice is a break or a close above 460 March. I see we knocked on the door a couple times, right? And then I see a lot of breathing room above that, right? We're not in the business of hoping and wishing, but that'd be nice to see. And maybe we get it with this USDA report Friday, right? I think we mentioned it every show probably for the past 2 weeks, don't you think, Brady, about being ready for this
report and the importance of the report? Absolutely. It's a big one. One of the biggest. You've said, I think, the Super Bowl of reports coming up. And yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, Connor, one of the interesting things to talk about Friday's price action, we were down 10.5 cents, had a 10.5 cent range on March corn, and that was the range for the week. But it all happened on Friday, so it'll be interesting to see if we have a broader than 10-cent range in corn this week. But yeah, I'm betting the over on that, Connor. If I was to take a bet, I'd bet the over that we have a bigger than 10-cent range. How about you?
I would say so, right? Usually this one, the USDA report, it really sets the tone for the year, in my opinion, right? We can hope it's positive, but I think it's an important one, and especially for how we look at marketing, I think at advanced trading too. It's just a good way, get ahead, get a grip on your marketing for 2025 for the upcoming year, right? And then go from there. So we'll be talking a lot about it. I'm sure we'll have a few charts, but other than that, it's good to see this rally. Good to see it continue to see that dryness in Argentina. It continues to fuel the market. I don't know, I don't know how widespread or how if we're in panic mode quite yet. I don't know about that, right? We're still predicting Brazil to have a, possibly above 170 million metric ton soybean crop. So, the soybeans are out there, but we need Argentina to have a good crop. So we'll see where it goes, right? Continue. I know everyone will be looking at those extended forecasts for Argentina because that really seems to be the main headline right now, I think.
Yep. Sounds good. Well, what else we got for headlines here, Connor B? What's our first one?
A lot of different yeah, so we got Trump's going to be in office here before we know it, and we had this is why we go live every day, cuz we started the show. I saw a headline that said we're Trump's considering an alteration to tariff plans, okay? Instead of blanket tariffs, he's going to maybe target specific set of goods, maybe be a little bit more direct with how he's applying tariffs. Not so fast. Then we get a tweet that this is going to be the market and world we live in. Trump immediately addressed the Washington Post article and said, "No, I have not thought about changing tariffs at all." Continuing with what I talked about, so it's a headline that's not a headline, right? Where he rumors that he's going to change tariffs, but then we heard it from the source he has no intention of changing tariffs. So always entertaining, interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's a given things are going to get shaken up here in the coming year, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, but definitely over the next year, things are going to be different and get shaken up a little bit. But I mean, I go back to tariff. You can't really tariff anything that you're not buying. So if China's not buying beans from the U.S. today or corn from the U.S. today, what are the impacts of reciprocal tariffs coming from them as a counter motive to what he's going to put on them? So I don't know. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters, but I don't know. Everybody's hung up on the same thing here. And you go down to that Argentina story again, just to jump back real quick. That's one domino. And if you're in the bullish camp, I think you need multiple dominoes to fall here. You need that domino, and then you need something else. Keep feeding the bulls if you're going to get excited about where this market can go. Things change. And
I agree. But when when you're looking at our world in agriculture, when you hear tariffs, right, we know how 2018 played out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that China's not buying. We know they're not buying corn. Their level of soybean buying from the U.S. is, it's the weakest year we've seen outside of 2018, 2019. So, when we hear tariffs, we think bearish news, but it could be a little bit more nuanced than that, right? We've talked a lot about used cooking imports or used
Mm-hmm.
cooking oil imports and how that affects, different
That
renewable.
would be a huge domino. If we could get that sorted out and fixed, that would be a huge bullish domino to fall and help out our American producers.
Right.
Yep.
So time will tell. But yeah, so was gonna alter tariffs. Turns out I think he's sticking to his guns and with what he said on the campaign trail. So let's go ahead and knock out all the we got another news. Yeah,
More politicals.
more political news. It's political Monday, right? I don't know how
Yep.
this happened, but Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is likely to announce resignation. So, this is kind of a big deal. I saw something that the next administration, right, the next election, 92% chance that they have that the conservative person running, I forgot his name, was going to win, right? So we could look at a decent change in policy and administration, and that's going to have impacts on the U.S. economy. So this could be a big one, Brady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that come through last night. I think it was coming circle around the headlines, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't know, kind of holding a Biden, in my opinion, kind of just backing out before the election, hand it off to somebody else, save face. They've been facing a lot of pushback here, and it seems like the whole world is just pivoting a little further to the conservative side, and Trudeau's maybe getting in front of the game there and saving face for the route ahead. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting to see. Right, it's just I think you summed it up nicely. Right, it's just potential changes. Right, if we see a more friendly administration in Canada that maybe aligns with the Republican Party and Trump, right? Do we still talk tariffs to Canada? Who knows? 2025, we're 6 days in and we're already got a lot of different avenues we could go. So time will tell, and we'll keep up on it. So what else we got? Listen, we mentioned Trump, we mentioned Trudeau, might as well mention Biden. This is potentially a big one. Biden to ban offshore oil and gas drilling in vast areas ahead of the Trump term. So, according to Biden, this was very much in line with his green policy. Right, he was looking to do this. But Brady, what are your thoughts? What implications can we have with this type of thing? Right, if we're banning oil and gas drilling, offshore oil and gas drilling.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in that area, Connor B. I won't pretend to be, but the energy markets and Trump's been very friendly to U.S. energy production and fossil fuel type production. So, but seeing that headline, is it political gamesmanship? Can it be undone? I don't know, the ins and outs of that. But watching those energy markets over the coming year, if we got a bid in crude oil market and saw those energy prices increase, that could be a huge thing for your grain markets and really support those. So I think you got to watch the energy market, but from a political standpoint, I don't know. Is it just gamesmanship in a headline here?
Here, the ban. This is the stat I was looking for. Is the ban will affect 625 million acres of ocean. So sounds like a lot of acres, but then again, the ocean is pretty big. So who knows? But yeah, interesting. Good way to say it in terms of the gamesmanship. So with that, quick update on premium. We had Dr. Cruz on just to give us an update on looking backwards so we can look forward type of video, right? Walk us through the different scenarios on corn. Thursday we did soybeans, and really we look backwards so then we can look forward as well, right? What are the threats, opportunities, and things like that? So good videos from Dr. Cruz, always full of a lot of information. So I think they're good stuff. I think this week on Premium, Brady, I think we're going to focus at least a couple days. I really want to talk about, right? Let's make sure we can put some marketing plans in front of guys, right? Look at, if we have sales on, do we have enough sold? Do we not have enough sold? Let's look how we can position ourselves to be ready for everything. That's kind of what I want to focus on Premium, but always, right? Give us some topics. We love to talk about whatever you want to hear.
Yep, I like that. If you got something out there you want to talk about, shoot us a message. Let us know what you want. We're here to serve you and make sure you get the most bang for your buck. For $1 a day, it's a pretty good deal, and we'll talk about almost anything you want to talk about. Maybe, I don't know. Put that on the table.
Good stuff.
Big report though Friday, and you can't understate that enough. We've hit it a lot, and that market's going to move. I think that's probably the first one here we're going to talk about out of the gate here on a premium this afternoon, is looking at that historical price move reaction that we see on the reports, and then just some specific tools guys can use going into that report to defend their bottom line and position them for maybe it's a bullish surprise. We don't want to rule out that opportunity that these markets could keep going higher, and maybe you get that bullish surprise and that bullish catalyst that sends it to that next level.
Absolutely, right? We got to be ready for that, and it's very much on the table, especially when we look at the soybean growing season we had, right? That dryness in August, could that warrant another cut on yield? Could we change the balance sheet? And I say absolutely. Now, one thing, Dr. Cruz, he had a great chart on corn and soybeans, right? The change in yield, and I think he had one on ending stocks as well. From the December WASDE to the January WASDE, right? Does the old adage, big crops get bigger, or vice versa, right? If we see a cut in December, does that mean they're going to cut yield again in January? It's 50-50, Brady, right? There's no correlation when it comes to USDA reports. And so, if you've got a strong bias that, yes, the USDA absolutely is going to cut yields, right? The yield wasn't out there, or absolutely the USDA is going to screw me over because that's what they do every year. I temper those expectations, right? History tells us it's a coin flip with what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we'll see. That report's Friday. We didn't mention the Jimmy Carter, National Day of Mourning. We got an early close Thursday, so
right,
trims up that pre-report positioning day a little bit.
Good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, I guess we got COT. It'd be interesting to see where the funds are at this afternoon. They'll print that here this afternoon. We'll get to see where they were last Tuesday. I can't reiterate. I still wish we could see this each day where the funds are. In today's world, I feel like that's something very easily done to give us an updated snapshot of where funds are positioned across everywhere. But be interesting to see that. Got weekly export inspections. Got some macro market. I think unemployment data out Friday as well. But other thing on my radar, Connor, is this is that first week cattle auctions are open. Winter Livestock and Dodge City will have their first of the year auction. Brings in a lot of guys who are holding their calf crop past the first of the year for income purposes. They'll bring that calf crop to town, and we'll really see where this cash market is at, and validation of this nice run we've seen on feeder cattle market. The index data has been really dry the last couple of weeks. Haven't had a whole lot of volume going into those numbers, with auction barns closed over the holidays. But this is that big week, first week for Oklahoma City winter livestock, out here in cattle country. If they can get him to town, Connor B, if they can bring him to town.
I was gonna say, walk us through. I think you had a video you showed me. I don't know if we got it loaded up. Yeah, what it's like being a cattleman in Kansas, huh?
Yeah, it was. The sun finally did come out yesterday, but that was taking care of some of the spring girls, and luckily they don't calve for another couple of weeks. The heifers, though, they are due to calve the 19th, and we actually had one. Dad and Mom went out and brought it into the house yesterday as it was. As I'm driving up to the office here, it's 0 degrees, -1, feels like -8, and I'm not a Dakota guy or a Montana guy, so that's cold enough for me, Connor B. It's cold enough.
Yeah, I believe it. We're not in that. I think we're in like the 20, maybe 19, 20 degrees. But yeah, like we just got the foot of snow. So
hey, I got to show you this. I had a couple Twitter posts that caught my eye, or Facebook posts that caught my eye here. This dude, Henry in Nebraska, up in the Sandhills of Nebraska, he's opening water. We got to feeding livestock's one thing, but opening water is also important. Access to water. And this guy's got the DeWalt battery-powered chainsaw to cut holes in that ice and open up those tanks. That's something, isn't it, Connor?
That's awesome. I wonder if the old 20 volt. It looks like it's just a 20-volt battery. Yeah. It might be a max, maybe. I don't know.
It's got to be the max.
Interesting how much juice that thing has. Yeah. That's awesome.
That makes being a rancher a little bit easier, but he still had to go out and get it done and make it happen. Here's a buddy of mine, Howard. He had feeding his calves there, getting them done, and he's in eastern Kansas there. But then this is my cousin Randall. His son, actually, Jackson, was hooking onto some bales and going to go feed the cows and take care of them. Every day, got to go out there and take care of that livestock, and you hope that they don't calve in these conditions. But
yeah, good deal. Well, try and stay
comments?
Warm. Yeah, let's pop them up.
Roll through any of those comments. And
Luke finished picking our cotton Friday at 545. USDA had national average at 792 and North Carolina at 900. Ours averaged a little over 1,000 pounds per acre. Good crop for sure. Good to hear, Luke. Yeah, right. Nice to see. Any cotton thoughts, Brady?
Cotton market, it's one of those markets I think you got to watch when it comes to tariffs and just the general state of the economy going forward next year. So if you're making planting decisions on next year's cotton based on price, or keep that in mind and manage your risk accordingly. But I know, Luke, you've visited with me about getting that crop out a little bit, and I'm glad you finally got finished up. I know it's been a trying year for everybody in North Carolina and the Mid-Atlantic area with the hurricane stuff and then everything else going on. But good comment. Glad you're done.
Let's paint the picture. If we still, if we can still see a decently strong corn market, right? I'd love to know the economics behind if we're going to plant cotton or corn for some of those guys that can switch acres. So interesting to see.
Yeah, it's different equipment, and it's cotton guys. There was a big push 3-4 years ago, Connor, in the northern plains, Kansas, Oklahoma. That cotton belt just kind of stretched north, kind of like the corn belt. Introduced some 90-day hybrids on corn. They introduced some shorter season cotton that did a little better in the northern area, and they pushed that cotton belt up north into Kansas. But guys very much found out that growing cotton isn't just the easy button, and it takes a lot of inputs, a lot of work, and if you aren't making money growing corn, chances are you're not going to make any more money growing cotton.
Right, and you need a whole different machine, which I'm sure you can rent it. But if they're anything like pricing the X9s, I'm sure they're not cheap. So
I don't think so.
Buckeye Farm Boy snowed in southern Ohio, 8 inches on the ground, another 4 inches expected today. Yeah, we're about in the same boat, except the snow's done. I think we're pretty much done now. The wind's just going to blow, and we'll go from there. But
make it all nasty in winter wonderland out there. Yeah, Russ Farms. Curious on your thoughts on why soybean futures for ladder into 2026 differ so much than the rest of the board. I believe Nov 26 is in the green, but August, September, and into 2027 are into the red. My quotes aren't going out past January of 26, so
I'll go ahead and let me look up Nov 26 So I've got Nov 26 at a 1029 versus Nov 25 at 1020. I don't know if you were looking at like Jan 26 rush, but you're always, no matter the year, you're going to see probably the carries tighten a little, the farther and farther we go out. But yeah, interesting to see, right? 9 cents.
Yeah.
It's always fun to look at the 2 years deferred months.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes 18 months in advance of planting that crop is the best chance to go make those marketing decisions. But yeah, right now that carry 1020 on Nov 25, 1029 on Nov 26, and 1048 on Nov 27. So still giving you a little more incentive to go out there down the road on those quotes. Good stuff, Nathan. Interesting to look at.
Appreciate the comments always, guys. So.
All right. Well, big weekend store here. Any thoughts as we wrap up the show and get on with the day job? And I think the premium content that we're going to pump out, talking about the USDA report, it's going to be good stuff here today. Make sure you catch that when it gets dropped in your inbox here this afternoon. Any closing thoughts here, Connor B?
Man, I was hoping during the live show we could bust through that 460 March. We're knocking on the door. Maybe we'll end this show and we'll break through it. We're pulling back ever so slightly. We'll see what time. Usually ahead of USDA reports, we see a little bit of a chopping around, but who knows, right? It's just Monday. We got a long way to go. So good stuff.
Good stuff. All right, cool. Well, we'll catch you guys tomorrow live at 9. Make sure you click like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to get alerted every time we go live this week. It's going to be a big week here in your grain markets. Stay tuned. Now let's get out of here. Who's clicking the button?
Go for it, Brady.
Okay. See y'all.